So, I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth today about fear, and a few things prompted this. One of the biggest reasons was going through what I'm going through and confronting fear, and obviously the basis for this channel is confronting performance anxiety. Anxiety is just fear, and we all have fears, regardless of what they are. And the second one was. Um, Thinking that I shouldn't. Uh, Basically, I'm running out of contact lenses, and I was thinking, oh, I really want to do another video and talk about this, but I can't do it in my glasses. And I thought, well, what part of me says that I can't do it in my glasses? And I thought, well, with the light and the reflection, it will just look weird. And then I was like, well, if you adjust the light, it won't be too bothersome. And what's the problem? And I realized there's a part of me that's holding on to the fact that I have to have this presented image to come on camera and to talk. And that presented image does not include me wearing my glasses because people just wouldn't want to look at me. That was actually the story I was telling myself. Same thing with makeup. So, two facts: I'm just wearing a bit of mascara, not really much makeup, and also my glasses. And seeing as it's really funny how confronting fear in one part of your life forces you to look at it in all parts of your life. What part of me didn't want to come on camera and potentially have loads of people see this, um, see me in my glasses and without makeup? What image am I trying to hold up here? And the only thing I'm trying to hold on to is my self-image and the way I present myself. And what if I were to just let go of that and be authentic? Because this is what this channel is about. It's about being authentic, showing up as yourself, without worry of coming across as perfect. Because what is perfection anyway? It's all in the eye of the beholder. And do I want to be part of a world where more and more people show up as being authentically themselves? Yes, I do. But I want to be part of a world that actually teaches the younger generations and shows people that showing up as yourself, unfiltered, is actually okay. And possibly what I have to say in this video is more important than my appearance or putting makeup on. And don't get me wrong, I love makeup. I love the way it makes me feel. I love the way I look when I wear it. But what if I chose to wear it because it made me feel good and because it was a form of self-expression, rather than feeling like I had to present myself to the world that way because I was afraid I wouldn't be accepted if people thought I didn't look pretty. So here we are. I'm taking the risk, showing up as myself, but that's the point. So the question I want to ask today is about fear and compensating for fears. Now, we all have fears, and there are two tendencies we have when we have fear. One tendency is to run away, and the other tendency is to push into it. Most of us will run away from our fears. I've been reading this amazing book, which has really absolutely changed my entire perspective on the way I've thought about things, and it's called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And in it, he talks about one of the passages in the book about having a thorn. And we all have these thorns. So imagine, if you will, you have a thorn in your arm, and this thorn is touching a nerve. And you have two decisions with this thorn. Either you can go about your life making sure that nothing ever touches this thorn. So you will adjust your life around the thorn so that nothing touches it, the clothing you wear doesn't bother it, the people you get close to will make sure you don't brush up against it. You can't go into the woods because there might be a tree branch that will brush up against it. You do all kinds of things to compensate for this thorn. And you can go years and years and years doing this. The other thing is, you could simply just take the thorn out. It would be painful, but then it would be out. And then you wouldn't have to compensate for the thorn. It's the same thing with fears and running away from them or just taking them out. The other interesting thing I had to ask myself is, like, what happens if your passion, and you realize what your passion is, lies on the other side of your deepest fears? And that's where you realize you have to let go and you have to lean into the fears. So the question I want to ask you is, what fears do you have? What are your thorns? And what are you compensating for? Because I guarantee we all have it. And for me, with my performing anxiety, my compensating behavior for 10 years was basically I worked in theatre as a stage manager and worked around actors and performers all the time and managing actors and performers, but I couldn't quite seem to do what they did, but I couldn't seem to not work in that environment either. And doing what I did as a stage manager wasn't quite fulfilling me enough, because here I was watching these people living their dreams and their passions and expressing themselves. And here I am sort of hovering around them and wanting to be a part of it in some way, but not fully confronting the fear. And I used my job as a compensating mechanism for the thorn. Really interesting. And it wasn't just the fear of performing anxiety and my job that was the compensating behavior. It was everything I did in my life. I realized I was compensating for the thorns I've had that I haven't wanted to pull out. As I said, you either lean into it or you pull away from it and you run away from it, and it could be years and years and years of you running and trying to put up all kinds of band-aids and plasters and, oh no, my thorn, don't touch my thorn, and make up all kinds of excuses as to why you can't pull it out. And you could spend your entire life that way, except when something happens that shatters your world completely and you are left with just yourself and your thorn, and you realize, that's it. I can't live with this pain anymore. I have to pull it out. Because the question is, guys, what lies on the other side of pain? If you're willing to confront it, what lies on the other side? Freedom. I wanted to be free of this negative pattern that was bringing me down, that was not fulfilling my soul. My soul was literally doing everything it could to call me towards doing this, and everything inside me resisted it. For 10 years, it resisted it. It's insane, because I built up a whole life of excuses of why I just didn't want to confront it. And I just thought, well, I was never any good, and that obviously wasn't my path. So, okay, I'm going to do something else now. But the more I did something else, the more I realized I was actually using those something else's to compensate for the thing I really, really wanted to do. And the thing I really, really want to do lies on the other side of my greatest fear. And that is the question I want you to think about, because we're all doing it. Rather, whether you're a musician and do suffer from performance anxiety, or just a human being in your life where you've got blockages and there are things that block you. And of course it's going to hurt. Of course it's going to be painful. Of course it's going to be uncomfortable. But your biggest growth lies on the other side of that pain. If you're willing to go through it, I mean, they all guarantee, if you can go through that pain and that period of your life where you're so uncomfortable because you're confronting your fears, they're like right up against your face, and there's only one way, and that is through it. I've tried going over, I've tried going under, I've tried going around. It doesn't work, guys. I can tell you the amount of techniques I can give you to overcome performing anxiety. I am the one example to say that none of them truly work unless you are willing to go to the heart of your fear and confront it. It doesn't matter how many times I performed. It doesn't matter how many people told me I was good at singing. It doesn't matter how many people said, oh, you should do this. None of it mattered, because I never confronted the fear within myself. I never went to the source of the pain, the thorn, and I was not willing to take it out. I was willing to do everything around to compensate, to do anything but take it out. So here I am now, going through the pain of experiencing the fear, and because I want to be free. I want to be free of the fear, and also I want to be an example to you guys, for whoever is watching, that, like, as an experiment, to see what lies on the other side. What can happen if you only confronted your fears? And what's amazing is, just by singing in public twice now, the last 2 Sundays, is that I've told myself, like, it's just, it was something I thought I could never do. It was just because of all the excuses I gave myself. But when I finally did it, I realized it was just not a big deal. But my heart had to be open enough to experience that, and also want it badly enough to be free of these negative thought patterns that I've had my whole life. At a certain point, they just wear you down, and you realize you can't handle it anymore. So I'm going to leave you with this question, guys. What if you were to confront your fear? And if you did, what lies on the other side? I'll see you in the next video.